I'm right here, baby. You're doing amazing.
I love you.
8 months later, and nothing felt the same again. I stood in front of the full-length mirror in our dressing room, the silence of the house feeling heavy. My stomach, once taut and toned, was now filled with stretch marks and soft, stubborn skin. My hips had widened, giving me a body I didn't recognize. I didn't regret birthing Harold. He was our miracle, but every time I looked in the glass, I felt like I was mourning a woman who had died the day he was born. The door clicked open, and Daniel walked in, looking effortlessly sharp in a tailored suit. He saw me, standing there in my gym pants, staring at my reflection with a look of pure loathing, and his expression softened into a frown. "Hey, honey, don't do this to yourself again," he said, sliding his arms around my waist from behind, pressing a kiss to the curve of my neck. "Will I ever get my body back, Daniel?" My voice cracked. "It takes time, my love," he said gently, his hands resting on the very curves I hated. "Your body is healing. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's been 8 months, babe, and there is still no difference," I said, blinking back tears. "Baby girl, just let your body do its work, okay?" He kissed my neck again and handed me a garment bag. Inside was a designer gown for the company anniversary. My heart sank to my stomach. "I'm not going," I whispered. "I'll look like a mess in this. Anita, you're my wife. I need you there." He looked me dead in the eye. "If you don't go, I'm canceling the whole party. I mean it." I knew that look. He was serious. "Fine," I snapped, the insecurity turning into a sharp edge. "But you have to get me a tummy wrap. I need to hide this." I pointed to my stomach. He looked like he wanted to argue, but smiled instead. "Deal." He nodded, then carried me playfully. "Let's go eat," he said, heading to the dining room. By the time the night of the party arrived, I had squeezed myself into the wrap. It was tight, making it hard to take a full breath, but it smoothed out the worst of my tummy. Daniel walked out of the bathroom, stopping dead in his tracks. "Oh, my world," he gushed, his eyes roaming over me. "You look beautiful, darling." He wrapped his arms around me, pulling me flush against him. My heart raced, not just from the compliment, but from the crushing tightness of the shapewear. "Baby, we're going to be late," I said, trying to pull away. "I'm thinking of getting you pregnant again," he whispered, winking. "Maybe tonight after dinner." He grabbed my butt. The blood in my veins turned to ice. I ripped myself out of his arms, anger flaring like a match. "No!" I shouted. "This body needs to heal, Daniel. You know how I feel, and you want to put me through this again? You're selfish." I didn't wait for his response. I grabbed my heels and stormed out, leaving him stunned in the middle of the room. "He isn't the one who carried the baby," I muttered to the empty hallway, the bitterness sharp in my throat. He didn't have to watch his body warp and stretch out of shape. He couldn't possibly understand. All he'd done was donate the sperm. I stepped into the nursery, the soft glow of the nightlight casting long shadows. The nanny rocked Harold gently in the corner. "He's asleep, ma'am," she mouthed. I nodded, leaning down to press a lingering kiss against his forehead. My heart softened for a second, but the cold weight of my insecurity returned the moment I turned away. I walked out of the room and headed straight for the limo, my heels clicking a sharp, angry rhythm against the floor. A minute later, Daniel joined me. He looked devastatingly handsome, the kind of man women turned their heads for. As the car pulled away, my heart raced from fear and love. Many women would be there, and I remember how they used to drool over him when we dated. But then I wasn't moved because I was a hot beauty. But now I felt ugly. "I'm sorry, my love," he said, reaching for my hand. "I swear I didn't mean to hurt you. I just look at you and I get excited. I see the woman I love." I squeezed his hand, my throat tight. He spent the whole journey winking at me, trying to make me laugh. But as I stared out the window at the passing city lights, I couldn't help but wonder, is he actually proud of me? Or is he just wanted to make me feel good? A wave of nostalgia washed over me as we pulled up to the headquarters. This was the same glass and steel building where I first met Daniel during a business negotiation. Back then, I walked with my head high. Now, I felt like I was hiding. Daniel squeezed my hand, pressing a lingering kiss to my knuckles. As the limo door swung open, the night air erupted. Flashlight blinded me. "The boss and his first lady are here," someone shrieked. The genuine warmth in the staff's eyes boosted my shattered confidence. The cameras followed our every move until we reached the grand event hall. Then, the atmosphere shifted. A woman radiant and dangerously confident approached us. Her gaze swept over me like a cold breeze. "Mr. Daniel," she said, her smile dazzling. "Miss Tracy," Daniel responded, his grin widening in a way that felt like a betrayal. He moved to introduce me, his hand resting on the small of my back. "Meet my wife. Is this the queen I saw in your office?" she said, her eyes lighting up with recognition, a smile spreading across her face. She scanned my figure with precision. "Beautiful," she finally said, though her tone suggested she was searching for a different word. "I can't quite find the right adjective yet, but when I do, I'll let you know." "You're a lucky man, Daniel." She winked at him. "I think I'll finally sign that project. Meanwhile, let me steal her from you." Before I could protest, she seized my arm and hauled me toward the bar. I glanced back to see Daniel staring with blatant admiration. Whether at the contract she promised or her effortless charm, I couldn't tell. My tummy wrap felt like a vice, crushing my lungs. "I hope you can handle your alcohol now," she said, thrusting a glass into my hand. She didn't wait for an answer. "How did you survive 9 months without a drink? That's exactly why I'm avoiding motherhood." She looked at my hips again, that glint returning to her eyes. "But if it would give me a figure like yours, I guess I'll try then." She laughed again. I knew an insult in disguise. Rather than risk a public outburst, I excused myself and to the restroom. Inside the stall, I leaned against the cold tile, gasping for air. I had begged Daniel to let me stay home. Now I couldn't breathe. I tore at the tummy wrap, peeling it away just to let my lungs expand. Once my heart rate slowed, I gently refitted it and stepped back into the hall. The sight in the hall stopped my heart. Tracy stood inches from my husband, and Daniel was laughing. A deep, genuine sound I thought he reserved for me. He didn't even realize I'd been gone. She handed him her phone. He typed something in and handed it back, smiling. When our eyes finally locked, he straightened up and hurried over. And that was the first time I started doubting him. "Hey, baby, are you okay? Tracy said you went to the restroom," he said, pulling me close by the waist. He pecked my cheek, his eyes full of genuine concern. "I'm fine," I said, though my heart was breaking. "Are you sure? You look uncomfortable. We can leave early if you want," he whispered. "I thought you wanted to show me off." I challenged him, my voice trembling. "I did, and they've seen you," he said proudly. "We're staying," I said sharply. Daniel looked confused by my tone, but he just nodded and took my hand to lead me to the investors. He spent the rest of the night praising me to everyone we met. He even gave a speech acknowledging my support, but every time I saw Tracy watching us with that amused look in her eyes, I felt smaller. I was the CEO's wife, yet I found myself obsessively comparing my curves to every slender woman in the room. When it was time to go, she walked up to Daniel. "Call me soon," she said. Daniel nodded politely. "Nice to meet the Queen." She flashed me a smile and walked away. The silence in the limo was suffocating. I stared out the window, ignoring the man beside me. "Are you okay, baby? You've been so quiet." The image of them laughing together burned into my mind. "Did I do something?" my husband asked again. And that night, everything got worse. "Don't you dare!" I snapped, pointing a finger at him. My voice was sharp, fueled by hours of suppressed pain. Daniel's jaw dropped. We didn't say another word until we got home. I marched straight to the bedroom, not waiting for him to help me out of the car. "Anita, I hate it when you get into these moods," Daniel shouted, his frustration finally boiling over as he followed me in. "Are you cheating on me?" I spun around, the question exploding out of me. "What?" He looked like I'd slapped him. "Don't play the fool, Daniel. You didn't even look for me. I come out of the bathroom and find you two huddled together laughing like teenagers." "She told me you were in the restroom." "Why are you accusing me of this? Why were you laughing with her? Why didn't you mention her before?" I asked all at once. Daniel blinked, his face full of hurt. "Do you actually mean that? She wasn't worth mentioning until now. We've been chasing her for a contract for months, and she's been stalling, and suddenly she sees you and decides to sign. I thought you'd be happy." "Of course," I hissed. "You probably told her all about your wife, and when she saw I was no match for her, She felt safe enough to sign so you two could start your little affair. She called me fat, Daniel. Indirectly, she mocked me. Jesus, Anita. What story are you cooking up in your head? Daniel shook his head, looking exhausted. I love you, baby. Tracy would never say those things, and I would never let her. She isn't like that. Of course you believe her over me, I whispered. Daniel looked at me for a long moment, not with anger, but with a deep, weary sadness. He shook his head and walked out of the room. I sank onto the bed and let the tears finally fall. That was the night I started losing my husband, even though he never stopped loving me. About an hour later, after I had freshened up and put Harold to sleep, I heard the door open and quickly shut my eyes, pretending to be asleep. Babe, Daniel's voice came softly as he walked over. Are you asleep? He touched me. I didn't move, only tightened my eyes. He leaned in, kissing my hair, then my cheeks, then my neck. I'm sorry, he muttered, but I'll never cheat on you. His voice was calm and certain. He pressed one last kiss on my skin before walking into the bathroom. Moments later, the sound of running water filled the room. Tears gathered in my eyes. When the water stopped, I quickly shut my eyes again. Minutes later, the bed dipped under his weight. His scent wrapped around me as he kissed me once more, then pulled me into his arms. I lay there, eyes wide open in the dark. Sleep wouldn't come. All I could think about was Tracy. Had he spoken to her yet, and what did they talk about? Carefully, I slipped out of his arms and reached for his phone. My hands trembled as I checked his call log. He had called her. My heart dropped. I opened his messages. And there it was. 6 in the evening is fine. That was the only message. My chest tightened instantly. My heartbeat spiraled out of control. Tears blurred my vision. That was it. The proof. He was having an affair. I remembered when my body used to look like hers. Is that why he wanted her now? Because I had lost shape. My throat closed painfully as I stared into the darkness. I don't know when sleep finally came, but I woke up to soft kisses trailing down my lips and neck. I pushed my husband away. What are you doing this early morning? I snapped, my voice rough. I just want to kiss my wife good morning, he said with that familiar, charming smile. A loud hiss escaped me. Baby girl, I'm sorry I walked out yesterday, he added, nuzzling closer. Until you tell me the truth, Daniel. I cut in sharply. But I am telling you the truth, he said, his voice firm now. I'm not cheating. I can't cheat on you, Anita. I shot him a look and got out of bed. Aren't you going to work? I asked coldly, when he remained there, staring at me with hurt in his eyes. I need to arrange the bed, I snapped. He swallowed hard, then got up and walked into the bathroom. My heart shattered quietly. I made the bed and walked into Harold's nursery. The nanny was changing his diaper. I'll take over. Go get some rest, I said. She nodded and left. Harold looked up at me, with his big eyes shining, and a soft smile on his lips. He carried both our features, and that made me happy. After cleaning him up, I sat down and began breastfeeding him, holding him close and soaking in his warmth. The door opened. Daniel walked in, looking sharp as always. He smiled at us, and my body betrayed me, reacting instantly. One thing was certain. I was deeply in love with my husband, and it hurt because he was having an affair. He kissed Harold, ruffling his hair playfully. Then he leaned toward me, but I turned my face away. He paused, yet I saw the hurt in his eyes. Pretender, I muttered inwardly. I'll be home late, babe. I have a meeting with Miss Tracy, I completed for him. His eyes widened. You checked my phone? He asked. I looked away. Anita, what are you doing? He exhaled. Can't I look at your phone again? I shot back. That's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying? I challenged, raising a brow. He shut his eyes briefly, then opened them. See you later, babe. His tone tightened. He turned and walked out. I fought back tears as I laid Harold in his crib. Then I changed into my gym pants, stepped out into the estate, jogging hard, anger fueling every step. I must get my body back and better this time. That evening, I sat on the balcony sipping tea. I told myself I wouldn't wait for Daniel, but I couldn't stop watching the gate. An hour passed and it was 7 p.m. Still no sign of him. Why would a meeting take this long? I muttered, my anger rising. I paced, then went inside and sat at the dining table and started eating. I won't call him, I told myself. I was almost done when the door opened. Daniel walked in, laughing on a call. Yes, I'm home now, he said. My chest tightened. He walked toward me, smiling, about to hand me the phone when I snapped. Is this the time you return from work now? He froze. Silence filled the air. Daniel glanced at me, then spoke into the phone. Let me call you back, he said and ended the call. Why was she asking if you were home? I fired. Baby, she wanted to invite you for something. She asked me to call her when I got back, he explained calmly. So you stay out late, then call your business partner, or should I say woman, to tell her you're home. Daniel's mouth opened, then closed. Did you even hear what I said? He asked. Oh, I'm deaf now, I replied sarcastically. Baby, the meeting ran longer than expected. It's a major government contract. I walked away, not wanting to hear anymore. He followed me into the bedroom and took a deep breath. Okay, I'm sorry for coming late. You're always sorry, I said. You have to change, Daniel. I can't keep doing this. What exactly do you want me to change? He asked, genuinely confused. Don't ask me. You know what I'm talking about. I walked out again, heading nowhere. Hours later, after cooling off in the garden, I returned. Daniel sat on the bed working on his laptop. The moment he saw me, he shut it and sat upright, waiting. I took a quick shower and changed, then slipped into bed. But he stopped me. Baby, we're not sleeping until we fix this. His voice was serious, yet soft. I don't understand you anymore, he continued. Since Harold was born, you changed. You're not the woman I know. That hit me. Of course I changed. My mind whispered. I'm not sexy enough anymore. Did I do something wrong? He asked. What can I do to fix this? I love you, Anita. I miss my wife. His voice cracked with worry. Can you back out of the project? I asked. What? He pulled back, stunned. Do you want us to lose investors? His eyes widened. I shook my head. But I don't like how close you are to Tracy. Baby, I was never close to her. The marketing team handled her before now, he explained. I raised a brow, and he exhaled. Don't stay out late with her. Don't pick her calls after meetings, I said firmly. That's the only way this works. He nodded quickly. Okay, I'll tell her. That's all I want, I said. He nodded again. He cupped my face and kissed me, but I turned away. Go to bed. I'm not in the mood. I slipped off the bed. He looked hurt, watching me enter into the bathroom. That night, while he slept, I picked up his phone, and I sent her a message. A warning to her WhatsApp. Stay away from my husband. Take your useless project elsewhere. If you think you can fool me, you're mistaken. I know what you are doing. I hit send. Then I stayed awake, watching, waiting until she read it, and then I deleted it, hissing. I was still asleep the next morning, because I hadn't slept all night, when I kept hearing Daniel sighing. At some point, it became unbearable, and it dragged me awake. I opened my eyes and found him sitting there, looking frustrated, like a man on the edge of tears. What's wrong? I asked. He exhaled sharply and turned to me. Tracy blocked me. I don't know why. I can't think of anything. And we were supposed to meet the governor today for the loan approval. His eyes were red. My chest tightened. I had never seen my husband look this broken. But I had to protect my marriage, before someone else destroyed my home. Maybe she's no longer interested, I said, trying to sound calm. No. His voice came out sharper than intended, making me flinch. Sorry, he added quickly, dragging a hand over his face. If she was serious about this project, she wouldn't just pull out like that. I insisted. Anita, she is serious, he said, his voice rising with frustration. We've concluded with the board and investors. Everyone is excited. I can't mess this up. This is a major deal. I need to fix this. He got out of bed. I shut my eyes again, guilt crawling through my chest. But I swallowed it. No, Tracy had to stay out of the picture. Minutes later, Daniel tapped me, and I sat up. He was already dressed. Where are you going? I asked. I need to get to the office. Babe, it's Friday. Your usual day at home. Anita, there's fire on the mountain, and I need to quench it before it burns everything, he said, and walked out. My heart pounded as I watched him leave. I went outside to exercise, trying to clear my head. But I was restless. I didn't want Daniel to find out the truth, and I didn't want Tracy anywhere near him either. God, please block him from connecting with Tracy again and give him another deal, I whispered. After an hour I headed back, only to hear heavy footsteps behind me. I turned sharply and nearly collided with Daniel. He looked furious and hurt. My heart skipped. I froze instantly. He opened his mouth, but his lips trembled. His eyes filled with pain. Is everything okay? I asked, stepping forward. Don't you dare come close! He barked. I flinched. For the first time, I was afraid of him. You didn't just ruin a deal, Anita, he said, his voice thick with emotion. You told another woman you don't trust me. I can't believe this. I was trying to protect us, babe, I said quickly. Protect us from what? Do you even hear yourself? He shot back, his eyes widening. Don't you see where this was heading? She kept calling, texting. You told me to handle that, and I said I would, he cut in sharply. You didn't even give me the chance. You went ahead and sent that message. So you still spoke to her? I snapped, folding my arms, pain slicing through me. Is that the point here? He asked, stunned. You're not seeing my point either. I fired back. Silence fell between us. Then he looked at me. Really looked. I love you, Anita, but I don't recognize you anymore. My heart cracked. I can't keep living like I'm being watched and judged every day. He turned and walked away. Babe, I was trying to protect us. I was trying to protect you too, I cried, rushing after him. But he didn't stop. He walked straight into the house, into our room. Daniel, please, let's talk. The look he gave me froze me mid-step. He sat down and started typing on his phone, his jaw tight, his foot tapping restlessly. Okay. I'm sorry, babe, I said, panic creeping in. He didn't look at me. Then, his phone rang. He picked up immediately. Okay. I'm coming. He stood up. Where are you going? I asked. He walked past me, like I wasn't there. My heart dropped. I covered my mouth, stopping the sob rising in my throat. Moments later, I heard the roar of his Range Rover. He was gone. Fear swallowed me whole. Where did he go? Who was he going to meet? Daniel had never shut me out like this. Never. I sat on the bed, my heart racing, then jumped up again. I couldn't take it. Thankfully, we had installed trackers on our phones. Still in my gym wear, I rushed into the garage, jumped into my Mercedes, and followed the signal. It stopped in front of a restaurant. My breath caught. Daniel's car was parked outside. I stepped out quickly, then paused. That's when it fully occurred to me that I was in a gym wear. I almost turned back. But curiosity, no, desperation, dragged me forward. I had to know. I pushed the door open and stopped again. Took a shaky breath, then walked in, and in that instant, my heart shattered. Daniel sat there, with Tracy. I knew it! I screamed, rushing toward them. They both looked up, shocked. What? You think I wouldn't find out? I cried, hitting his chest. I begged you. I tried to stop you and you're still cheating on me. What does she have that made you choose her over me? I broke down. Daniel didn't move. Not even once. He just stood there, staring at me, like he didn't recognize the woman in front of him. His jaw tightened. Pain flickered across his face, raw and unguarded. Then disappointment settled in. Anita, he said quietly. But his voice carried a warning. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. My chest rose and fell wildly, my hands shaking as I pointed at Tracy. That was when Daniel dragged a hand down his face and took a step back from me. That action, it hit harder than anything. And then Tracy spoke. What is wrong with you, Anita? Tracy snapped. Don't you dare interfere. I spat. You should be quiet and listen. She fired back. Do you know why I signed this project? It's because of you, she fired again. I blinked, stunned. When I met you, I felt like I'd found a sister. I wanted to be your friend. I admired you. My breath caught. You survived something I'm afraid of, and it gave you a body I've always wanted. My jaw dropped. Yes. I want to be thicker, she said bluntly. Ask your husband. Do you know how long they've been sending proposals I ignored? Until I met you, my heart sank. Do you know how highly your husband speaks of you? This man is in love with you, Anita. I glanced at Daniel. He looked broken. You better not destroy your home because of your insecurity, Tracy said firmly. Your message hurt me, and I didn't respond because I have my own insecurities too. But I won't let them ruin something good when I see it. Tears burned my eyes. Fix your home, Anita. I never wanted your husband. And I never will. She turned to Daniel. We'll talk later. And she walked away. Shame crushed me. Babe, I whispered. Daniel didn't even look at me. He just walked out. People were now staring. I ran after him, but he was already driving off. I jumped into my car and followed. The drive home was a blur. The moment I parked, I rushed after him. Baby. Baby, please. He ignored me. Daniel! He walked into the bedroom and slammed the door. I followed him in, my chest heaving. Please. I'm sorry. I know sorry can't fix this, but I'm truly sorry. My voice broke. After Harold's birth, I felt ugly. My stomach wouldn't go down, and my skin broke out. Everything changed. I remembered how you used to look at me, and I felt like I lost that girl. Tears streamed down my face. I started feeling insecure. Every woman who looked like my old self made me feel small. Then with Tracy appearing, it got worse. I swallowed hard, but I'm willing to go to therapy. I'll apologize to her. I'll fix this deal. Please. I'm sorry I doubted you. He finally looked at me. His eyes shone, with pain and love. Do you know how much I love you, Anita? He said quietly. My breath hitched. The birth of our son made me love you even more. I saw your body change. I saw the pain you went through to bring him into this world. His voice broke. I love you. And right now, I love your body even more. Have you seen the way you move? You drive me crazy. Don't want you to lose a single pound. I broke down completely. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I destroyed us. Come here, he said softly, opening his arms. I hesitated. Baby. Come here, he said again. And this time I ran into him. He held me tight. Don't ever do this to us again. I won't. I'll go to therapy. I'll apologize. I'll fix everything. I sobbed. He smiled faintly. The board convinced her. We still have the contract. But I'll apologize to her, I whispered. He nodded. Then he turned me toward the mirror. I tried to look away, but he lifted my chin. Look at you, he said gently. You're beautiful, Anita. Even more beautiful now. His hand slid to my waist, squeezing softly. Heat rushed through me. I turned to face him. Will you give Harold a younger brother? I whispered, brushing my lips against his. He paused, searching my eyes. Are you sure? You don't have to rush. I'm sure. Something lit in his eyes. He pulled me closer, crashing his lips into mine. We kissed to a newer beginning. Yes, I married a billionaire. A good man. A loving man. But I almost destroyed my marriage. Myself. Not because he cheated. Not because he lied. But because I let my insecurities take over. He never stopped choosing me. I was the one who stopped choosing myself. To every woman battling postpartum anxiety, I see you. I'm sending you love. But don't be like me. Especially if you have a good man.